Believe it or not, Tuesday I had a chauffeur, Julio Iglesias himself. We both needed to go in town to pick up some parts at Jegg's at 11th Avenue. Billy needed some fittings for his Nova, and I needed to pick up a new fuel pressure gauge for my Malibu's NITROUS kit. I also plan on getting the Mustang out soon, so I picked up a case of Boost Juice to fill up the water methanol tank. Unfortunately, they didn't have everything there at the 11th Avenue store that Billy needed, so we had to turn and burn up to Delaware to the main warehouse. While we're pulling in up at Delaware, Buckwheat's down at Mark's at A1 trying to play Stump the Chump again.
What do you mean, what do I want? I'm at a parts store. What do you think I want? Well, that's the beginning of this week for the first strikeout. I don't know why everybody says so hard. I'm getting closer to the Milwaukee pile, but we stopped doing shirts. I got wardrobes. He hasn't even delivered all the shirts that he owes.
Well, you know.
So now we're going to start picking on something that hurts Chumpy, the Milwaukee section.
No, that's a bad place to be.
Oh, yeah.
After he got done beating Mark up, he headed down to Restoration World to pick up some parts for Billy.
Turn left, then turn left.
That's right, you goof.
I'm not sure I understand why Jeremy has to have his GPS to find this place. You literally take 70 west out of Columbus and you drive until you see this place right along the interstate, and then you get off the next exit.
Your destination is on the right.
I guess the main thing is he made it there safe and sound without any problems. He went straight to the Nova section to pick up some parts for Billy, and then he had to stop in the C10 area.
I got me a pair of these. I'm thinking way better than that shit.
By the time Jeremy got out of Restoration World, Billy and I were headed down to Mark's ourselves. He had ordered some parts in, and he didn't have any idea that Mark had already delivered them by the time we got there.
What'd you do?
I hope I didn't do anything.
I got people over there. They just didn't say nothing to me.
Oh, really?
Oh, you sent the
Lack-
parts we're here to pick up over to the shop and nobody
Evidently.
said nothing. Way to communicate,
Lack of
Mark.
communication. I'm sorry. I just thought that that's what I was kind of trained to do, was get stuff out.
You can go ahead and take off. They're going to take me back to my shop.
Are there a taxi service now too?
Yes.
Wow, they're really stepping up.
Peace.
Since we were riding together, and I know Billy was in a hurry to get back to his shop, I sweet-talked Mark into taking me back to my shop after I sweet-talked him out of some Milwaukee stuff.
Wow, this is really nice of you to offer to sponsor me all this Milwaukee stuff, Mark.
Well, yes, it is. I appreciate you.
I just won't let my brother touch it.
No, you better put that up.
I saw he was in here earlier today, giving you hassles about stumping the chump and trying to go from t-shirts to Milwaukee
Yeah,
stuff.
he's trying to get up on my top shelf stuff.
No. That's my stuff. The top
Okay.
shelf stuff, that's mine.
Okay. Well, he's banned from it then.
Jeremy's been trying to weasel some Milwaukee stuff out of Mark for months. I can't wait to rub this in.
Is that your brother up there?
No, but it's probably one of his relatives.
We got stuck behind another carcass wagon on the way home that looked exactly like something Jeremy would be towing behind him. Anyway, once we got out from behind that trash wagon, Mark got me back to my house pretty quick. We pulled in the driveway, and of course the dogs come out to meet us, and Vicky couldn't figure out who in the hell was pulling in the driveway.
What's happening?
I got a Shanghai. I'm chauffeuring stuff.
I went straight into the shop to get busy on the Malibu. The first thing I wanted to do was put that fuel pressure gauge on, except I forgot it in the 64, and Billy's got it at his shop. I went ahead and checked my fuel pressure with my flow gauge, and then went out to fire up the Mustang and see how the new alternator worked. Well, the alternator worked good, but the belt, not so much. For whatever reason, it burnt the belt off of it in about 30 seconds. So I went back in and jumped in my reliable street car, and me and June Pup decided to go down to see Billy and get my parts. We let the car warm up for a few minutes out in the driveway, and then we headed towards Newark. When me and June Pup pulled in down there, it looked like all hands were on deck trying to get that Nova put back together so we can go to Texas. Now I get thrashing, but what I saw when I walked in the door I couldn't hardly believe. They had the nose off the car upside down on the concrete, and Tommy was back there doing some kind of weirdo dance I had never seen before. Nothing in there looked like it made sense to me, so I went ahead and just grabbed my parts out of the back of the 64, loaded them in the Malibu, and me and June Pup headed back to my shop to finish my work on the Malibu.
What do we got to get done today?
The Mustang needs a set of spark plugs put in it because it'll barely run. They're fouled from starting it up cold and shutting it off cold and never letting it warm up. And it needs a belt that lasts longer than 30 seconds. and evidently it needs a new belt tensioner.
I already called Chumpy. The belt's on the way to the store. The tensioner will be there by noon. I'm gonna go look and see what you guys have done to this alternator, because it didn't have belt eating problems until you and Kenny touched it.
It was at this point I'd realized that Jeremy had not yet seen my new Milwaukee tools.
Look what I got.
I'll find you listened. It only took years.
Hey, guess where I got it?
You chump face.
After he said that you gave him a bunch of shit about Stump the Chump and you wanted in the top
You know
shelf.
how many times I've stumped the chump? It's like a daily event. Because all I gotta do is come and ask for normal shit, and he ain't got it.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but he was nice to me. You know why? Because I'm nice to him.
This is why he sponsored it.
What?
It's useless. It's half-inch and it's a little tiny gun.
He said I could take wheels and tires off with it.
Before Jeremy left for the day to go down to Billy's, I had him help me go ahead and run through the valves on the Malibu real quick, just to be safe after the initial break-in period. Then we loaded up all the packages that need to go to the post office in his little fire truck. He had that thing packed clear full by the time we got done. I sent him down to the post office to drop that stuff off, and then I went in to start opening my own mail and found that someone had sent me a set of these Nipex pliers that Boosted had told us to get, so we had a way to pull Billy's fuel injectors apart. Now I know he's trying to get that car fired up in the next 2 days, and the injectors have been sitting quite a while. So me and June Pup hopped into Malibu, and I decided I'd take those Nipex pliers down and drop them off, just in case he might need them sooner rather than later. By the time I got down there Wednesday afternoon, they had the engine in and the headers and the turbos back on.
I bring you nipple pliers.
I handed over the pliers and found out that Billy had some stuff that needed to go back up to Bob's. A valve spring removal tool and the engine lift plate that was on the big block when we brought the big block back from the machine shop a couple of days ago. Since I don't really have anything better to do today, and the weather's so nice, me and June Pup couldn't turn down an opportunity to go cruise up to Mount Vernon in the old Malibu. It takes about 45 minutes to get to Bob's shop from where Billy's shop is down in Newark. Not a bad drive. The weather was pretty decent when I headed up that way. But it didn't take long after I got there that the weather started to turn sour in a hurry. I pulled in up there at about 5 o'clock, and Bob was working on a set of cylinder heads, ream and valve guides, trying his best to get caught up before we dive back into Billy's aluminum small block again. I had hoped to hang out with Bob a little bit longer this afternoon until I looked outside and saw what was coming. It started to pour down rain, and we're right on the edge of the storm. So I decided to head south as quickly as possible to get out from underneath that mess. June Pup and I hadn't had much to eat yet today, so we stopped at the Marathon and got a couple pieces of pizza to share on our way back. I ate most of the pizza and June Pup ate most of the sausage. As we were headed back towards town, I started getting some pictures and some videos sent to me on the shared album from Uncle Buckwheat. It sounds to me like they've just about got the nose put back on that Nova. So I stopped down to check out their progress. It doesn't look too bad, honestly.
What do you got there?
Headlight bucket.
So we ordered those for the Falcon, and they didn't quite fit. So looks like they'll work on this though.
They're royalties.
Yeah, they're royalty headlights. So they'll be bright LEDs.
Perfect.
I wonder if those will fit behind the globes on the 36.
They might.
I need to check those out.
So where are we at on this? We're missing one fuel line for the regulator. I need to go back to my house and look for that.
Missing one fuel line. We got to mount the fuel cell. We got to put the bungs on the fuel cell. Might have to make a couple new lines.
You got to weld some new fittings on the radiator, right? The AN fittings on the radiator.
Yeah, 2-16s to the radiator, nothing serious. We're waiting on a pulley. I had to overnight a pulley from Aeromotive so that I can turn the fuel pump.
And I ordered you the new crank pulley for the alternator, and it should be in at Jegs tomorrow at 11th Avenue. So you want me to run in there tomorrow and pick that stuff up?
Yeah, and I got a couple push lock fittings, some 90s, and then I got a couple 200 PSI Holley pressure sensors that I need that we robbed out of this to put in the truck because the ones that we got for the truck were bad right out of the box.
Oh, okay.
So I got a fuel pressure and an oil pressure sensor I need to get.
So did you start the computer up, the ECU and the dash?
We hooked the battery up and we hooked the ECU up, and the ECU is powered up. The dash comes on. It's reading the configuration that I last had in it. So all the gauges were reading. It showed my battery voltage and everything. So it should be good. We made sure the starter works.
So there's not a whole lot left to do before you fire this thing, really. I mean, there is, but it's pretty close.
Well, we got to make exhaust, fit out the fenders and stuff. We got to, Buckley's going to drill some holes in the fenders down here, and then we'll have to make the exhaust fit out the fenders. But
Because before the fenders were 2-piece.
yeah, this part was cut out below here, and we want to keep that one piece this time and just have a hole. Look a lot better.
I think that's a lot better. Well,
Genius at work.
genius at work. Robble.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to get that Mustang running first thing tomorrow morning. Morning.
You and this Mustang.
Morning.
Mustang.
That means before noon.
What happened to the old belt that was on the old alternator? That's not
Oh,
worked just
Captain Numbnuts and Numbnuts number
No.
2 flung it off on the road.
Remember,
somewhere.
it wasn't wide as it should be, and it would squeak all the time. Remember that?
fine. I mean, it would squeak every once in a while, yeah. When you're
Okay.
running the headlights.
Okay, so when I put that new alternator on, it never stopped squeaking.
All we know is him and Kenny touched it, and since then it ain't been the same since. Huh.
So tomorrow morning,
Somehow that calculates into a pain in my ass for some reason.
well, shit slides downhill.
What do you have to do to it tomorrow morning?
Stick a piece of TNT in it and watch
Okay, so
it
you
go
drop
in
the
there.
parts off, and I'll go take care of the Mustang tomorrow. You come here and do this.
Yeah, see, you got a Mustang mechanic right here.
Well, we need you to get this done.
Well, Rob might actually show up before noon.
Yeah.
I show up before noon all the time. Everybody else is asleep. I have video evidence.
Well, leave the
Time
parts.
stamped.
You leave the parts, and
Multiple
I will
times.
do the Mustang tomorrow. And
All right, take the parts I need for my Mustang, go put them in my Malibu, and I'll take them home. That way they're there in the morning. I won't have to worry about what time you crawl out of bed, out of your cocoon.
or if you're at Mark.
I'm out of bed at like 6.
Dude, you spent like 6 hours today at Mark's down there giving him shit.
I ordered parts from him at 10. I arrived there, he had 0 of the parts. None, except for spark plugs. He did have your Dash 7s. Nothing else. And then thing 1 ran down to go get them real quick and then forgot them.
Are you shitting me?
And then you called and be like, drop everything, head to the Nova.
Well, because you've been down there for 2 freaking hours.
I called at 10 to pre-order everything.
Listen, we can't sit down there and wait for Mark to get his stuff together. If he don't have his shit together, you turn and burn and tell him to deliver it. That's the new rule. No more hanging out down there, trying to stump the chump and get you free.
I don't have to try. He does it on his own. You wait, I'm gonna rip into him tomorrow.
I'm gonna rip into both of you.
Well, Mark might care.
What you doing there, Squirrely?
Working
Working on what?
taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 1 a.m. on a work night.
It's still grumpy season.
Yeah. I have to have all of our tax stuff for us, Billy, I hope Tommy and Allison, get it all gathered up and ready to hand off to the tax lady before we leave for Texas.
Oh, boy.
It's a lot.
She's grumpy, huh, Scrap? What do you got laid out here? You want to talk about that?
Sure.
All right, so the month of April, we are declaring it Gasoline and Freedom Month.
Yep.
And to celebrate and kick off Gasoline and Freedom Month, we're giving away a nitrous kit. Now, the other day I gave away one.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the identical kit that's on my Malibu. It's a dual-stage billet crossbar kit from NITROUS Express. The same exact thing that's on my Malibu. There's enough dope here to blow your guys' stuff clear to the moon.
Dope?
That's what they call it. Dope, nitrous, juice.
Oh.
Okay. All right, so what we're doing is we've got only so many of these. I don't know how many.
A limited number.
There's a limited number. We don't know how many there is yet, but we've got Gasoline and Freedom metal signs.
That are going to be
and decals.
Signed.
Oh.
Yep. You're going to sit down and sign them.
Okay. I'm going to sign these things.
Yep.
But we're going to have a limited number of these put up on the website tomorrow at noon.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I'm going to set the alarm on my phone and I'll turn it active at noon.
At noon. That's 12 o'clock p.m. Thursday Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
And we're going to let it run for Thursday and Friday.
And Saturday.
So when's the cutoff? When are you going to shut it off? Well, I mean, we may run out. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to let it run Thursday and Friday, and if they sell out before, then you guys are going to be shit out of luck. But we're going to let it run Thursday, Friday, or until supplies last.
Yeah.
And then we're going to shut it down at some point Saturday morning.
Probably.
Unless they sell out.
Yeah.
But we're going to shut it down Saturday morning, and we're going to pull a winner for this deal Saturday at noon. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, again, NITROUS Express.
And that is April 1st, so that's why.
And this is not April Fool's.
No, yeah, it's really real.
That's why I didn't want to do this on Saturday. You insisted. I'm like, it's April Fool's.
Do it Sunday and give people...
No, that gives everybody a heads up. They don't even realize it's April Fool's. Well, they would. I don't care. It's not April Fool's.
We'll figure it out.
Well, it's not April Fool's. This is a real thing. Not April Fool's. Billet dual stage crossbar kit, exactly the same kit that's on my Malibu, sitting right here. Exact same kit. Now, we're going to, like I said, we're going to put these up on the website tomorrow at noon, Eastern Standard Time.
Tomorrow being Thursday.
Yep. So by the time you read this, it's probably already Thursday.
Maybe.
Or see this, I should say, read this. By the time you see this, it will be Thursday. So most likely by the time you see this, there's a good chance it's already live on the website. Hopefully it's not already sold out by the time you see it. So that's the oldmansgarage.shop. That's the website. And you buy one of these prize packs. How much are they? Like $30?
Yep.
Okay, $30.
Signed, and decals.
Okay. So $30, and we're going to run those till supplies last. I don't even know how many we got. I guess we're going to find out here in a little bit when we count them.
That's my next thing I got to count.
Oh.
But I'm on it.
Okay.
And then I got to get to bed.
All right, me too.
Oh, I got to quit doing that. I said I needed to quit doing that because in the video it sounds terrible. You can just cut that.
Okay. All right. Are you done now? You're going back to working on taxes?
I will promise everybody that the next video, we're going to have Texas details.
Oh.
Yeah. I need to get with Uncle Jimmy Dale and hash out exact...
my God.
The most up-to-date
Do you remember
details.
the last time we asked him for details?
No.
I do. It was PRI. When he gave me the directions and the address to dinner.
Okay, well...
Wild goose chase, and then by the time I found him, he was sneaking around the building. We're not going to talk about that, what he was doing. Okay.
So listen.
What?
Next video, though, I'm going to have the most accurate, up-to-date details on the Texas trip for all of our Texas friends and even some who might drive further away to come and see us.
Okay. Are we done?
Yeah, I have merch picks, and you are putting them in, so...
No. Why'd they call you LT?
I got named LT for Nick for lunchtime.
Lunchtime?
Yep.
You don't come in till lunchtime?
If they're lucky.